Hi guys, well, the Whoop is here. Long story short, I wanted to get more fitness data, and the Apple Watch really doesn't cut it with fitness data. The Apple Watch is a nagging device, okay? It will nag you. It will say, hey, you haven't closed your move ring, you haven't closed your exercise ring, hey, you need to stand up more. And then after you sit at your desk for 3 hours, it's going to go, hey, you closed your move ring. The the data from the Apple Watch, sorry Apple, is kind of pointless. It does bring you some data back, but the data you get back, especially in the morning, is useless, like heart rate and resting heart rate and HRV. It's not that detailed with the Apple Watch. It doesn't tell you in the app what it means. So I went and I got the Woot. The biggest Woot part of a Woot is that it costs $359. So it's a big for the life plan. So it's a big decision, and the life plan is not a lifetime plan. It is $359 per year, but the life plan gives you as much data as possible about your life, as much fitness data as possible about your life. So let's see what you get with the Woot. First, this is the Woot, and this is the Apple Watch. The Woot is a lot heavier. That's the first thing. You wouldn't think it. You know, the Apple Watch does kind of more stuff than the Woot. The Woot, it feels like I have a Sherman tank on my arm right now. I don't need any dumbbells today. This is heavy. I'm not sure if it's just because it's the way it's kind of elastic strap or what's going on with that. But that's my first comment on the Woot. Is darn, this thing is heavy. Second comment. That's the charging cable. Yeah, some people have said it has a 1 meter charging cable. That's not 1 meter, that's like a few inches. I don't know, nobody's gonna be pleased with that one. And that, what happens is this charges a charging brick, and then you can wear this charging brick in bed and recharge your Woot. So then you have even more uncomfortable weight on your arm. I'm not getting impressed at this point, as you can tell. For $359, I'm not getting impressed with this guy. So you would just clip this on, this wireless charge this guy at first, clip this wireless charger on your Woot, and it will charge it overnight. And hopefully, if you can get out of bed in the morning with all the weight on your right arm, you can get some good health data. We'll see. The good thing is this guy will last 15 days apparently on a single charge, and it came charged to 64%. So I am, God forbid, not going to be using the battery pack tonight. But you spend $359 on a device, and guess what? They don't give you a charging block. Come on, Woot. So now I have to walk around the house looking for a USB-C charging block. I'm sure there's one somewhere, but come on, that probably costs $20-$30 to produce in China. Come on, guys, just provide a charging block with your devices. I know everybody has a USB charger until you don't have a USB charger and you have to walk around your apartment looking for one. Setup was interesting to say the least. You know, it goes through a wizard. Everything's in an app, and it goes through the wizard and app and pairs your Bluetooth on your phone with your Woot. It didn't want to pair first of all, and had to go through a whole reset cycle, and then eventually it paired with the phone and started going through a wizard. And obviously then there's no data on the app at all. The app is now a blank slate because I've just started using this thing about half hour ago. So we will see how this week goes with the Woot, and I will show you some of the data I get in the morning, and I'll compare it to the older Apple Watch. And we'll see if it's really worth it. You know, it's definitely right now. I didn't get the wow factor. You know, they're trying to copy Apple with the packaging and the fancy stuff, but obviously it's not a smartwatch. But I didn't get the wow factor. It's not like it's a lightweight, easy to use device. It's heavy. At least it feels heavy. You know, maybe it's just because the elastic strap, and it's just. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I don't want to barrage remorse just yet, but we'll see how it goes. 1 week with the Woot, and I'll post another video at the end of this week, and we'll see how this whole thing unfolds, shall we? I know you guys are probably asking, why on earth would you need a Woot? Well, the Woot does provide more data points. At least it provides more frequent data samples than an Apple Watch. An Apple Watch is kind of lazy in its data samples in my research. It will check your heart once in a while, but it's not going to check your heart continuously. It will check your blood oxygen once in a while, especially during a workout, but it's not going to check your blood oxygen continuously. It's going to check your HRV, probably a few data points through the night, but it's not going to check your HRV continuously. The whole idea behind this is it checks that data continuously, and then it builds that into an AI model. And using AI in the cloud, it can get a much better idea of your overall health and give you health recommendations every morning. Why is that useful? Well, if you're in fitness like me, that's a lot more useful than Apple Watch, because Apple Watches nag you to work out every day. They want to close your mood ring every day, blah, blah, blah. If you're into fitness, you realize closing your mood ring every day is actually probably a bad idea sometimes, because sometimes your body's just not up to it. Sometimes you had a hard workout. Sometimes maybe you're jet lagged. Sometimes maybe you have a virus. Maybe a lot of things going on. The Woot is going to say, hey, you don't work out today. The Apple Watch is going to beg you to close your mood rings. Now, if you have an ounce of common sense, you'll probably ignore the Apple Watch, keep it in mute all day, and just forget the mood rings for that day. But this will give you more precise data as to whether you should put your limits today, whether you should work out, or whether you should just take a rest day and take a bunch of protein shakes and just forget it for the day. So that's the main reason I got the Woot, was to get much better fitness data as to how my body is recovering from workouts. I can also see that the Woot is useful if you live on your own, or maybe if you're in a long distance relationship like I am, because you have to take very good care of your health in a long distance relationship. Nobody is coming to save you sometimes, or if they are coming to save you, they're going to be a long way away. If you could have an early warning system that you're going to get sick, then maybe you can address it, get some medicine, maybe even go to the hospital, maybe even see a doctor before you even get sick. If you can detect when you're going to get sick using these devices. Now, the Apple Watch does do that a little bit. It has, at least the Ultra version, has the overnight vitals thing. And it will say, hey, your overnight vitals are high, your temperature is high, your pulse rate's high, your breathing disturbances are high. It will tell you that. It really won't tell you what to do with that data. It's just going to say, hey, something's wrong. You should probably check it out. And usually what I find with the Apple Watch is it will show a temperature spike, and then maybe half a day later, maybe a day later, you get sick, and then your breathing disturbances will go up, and your pulse rate will go up, and everything else will go up, and you're sick then, obviously. So all the data's gone down the toilet. Maybe, just maybe, the Woot can detect things a little earlier, and you can jump on things a little sooner. I have seen this crazy claims on Facebook with things like the Whoom band and stuff, that they can early detect strokes and stuff like that. I'm not in that camp. I think that's like AFib detection, and that's Apple Watch kind of does that. This is AFib detection as well. But I have to say, the AFib detection algorithms sometimes kind of suck, because, you know, I had an AFib notification that was, I think it was 4 or 5 years old show up. So we just analyzed my data like 4 or 5 years later on the Apple Watch and said, hey, you had an AFib back in blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I don't even remember what I was doing then. And guess what? It never happened since then. Maybe it's a sign of a stroke I had back then. I really don't know because it's never happened since then because the data is not in real time. Hopefully, this guy has a lot more data. It can use AI to process my health data and then come back results much faster. So if I'm getting sick or if I, God forbid, have something serious going on, I'm going to know about it and I can do something about it before I end up in a very difficult situation. So that's the theory behind it. There's two theories behind it. You know, it's good for working out and it's good for living on your own. And it may even be good for seniors and old people because a lot of them live on their own and a lot of them have very serious health conditions. And if you're monitoring your blood oxygen 24/7 and monitoring your heart 24/7, it's probably a good thing to do when you get older. So let's see where this goes. I'm going to use this for what it says actually when you start this up. It says you have to use it for 20 days before you can actually get some good data from it. I'm going to use it for a week. I'm going to post another video after a week, but I'm going to be using this for a year. You know, it's $359 for a year. I'm going to be using it for every second of that year. I'm never going to take this thing off unless my arm drops off, shall we say. But let's see how it goes, and I'll post another video in about a week's time, and I will show you some data from the fitness bracelet. Let's do this.